A 13-year-old girl, a 32-year-old man. He sneaks into the room, and what happens is the reason this movie almost does not exist anymore. But before we show you what happens, you should know this. Her parents approved of what happened in that scene. After the recordings, she did not feel quite right. She sued. But 1 year later, she did it all over again. The girl is Nastassja Kinski. This is her first acting experience ever. She trusted the director, Wim Wenders, but he did not protect her. Kinski grew up, and when she looked back on this scene, it broke something in her. She cried about it. What stayed with her was not just what happened. It was that no adult had been honest with her beforehand. No one told her what it would be, and no one, not even her parents, stepped in to protect her. The real pressing question is, how did a 32-year-old man end up in that room? Picture what you think happened. Hold on to that, because the truth is not the scene itself, it is what came after, when she was old enough to understand it. It was 1973 when Wenders' girlfriend discovered the 12-year-old Kinski in a place you would never expect. On a rainy evening, Wenders and his girlfriend, Lisa Kreuzer, were visiting a nightclub in Munich. Wenders sat down for a drink, while Kreuzer went off to dance. Kreuzer saw a girl on the dance floor that was dancing and doing acrobatic tricks. The fearless girl had something unusual, a face that took your breath away. A blend of purity and mystery. A face made for the camera, Kreuzer said in her own words. Kreuzer introduced her to Wenders. He was immediately blown away by her appearance. He asks about her age. She said she was 16. At first, they had no idea she was the daughter of a famous colleague, Klaus Kinski. He was a famous German actor who lived and died in California. After this meeting, a lot will happen to Nastassja Kinski, but she will grow into one of the most recognizable actresses of the 1980s. Kinski was 13 when Wrong Move was shot. The filmmakers were surprised she had lied about her age. But to them it was no big deal and never mentioned. What mattered to them is her appearance for the camera. Many people remember her from this iconic photograph that sold 2 million copies in the 1980s. In the film Wrong Move, we follow the traveling main character. He meets an old Nazi soldier and his silent granddaughter, and from their very first crossing, Kinski starts staring at Wilhelm. Meanwhile, if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, join us. Like and subscribe to the channel. She watches him closely. Wilhelm has paid for the train tickets of the two poor travelers, and as a thank you, she is told by her grandfather to perform a trick. She uses that moment to get closer to Wilhelm. From that moment, the three of them are traveling companions. A writer, an old Nazi, and a girl too young to know what she has walked into. Scene after scene, Kinski is besides Wilhelm. Even after he meets another woman, a woman he falls for, a woman who stays with him for the rest of the journey, Kinski never stops. The next scene may be difficult to watch. You can skip it or stop watching the video here. Together, the group travel companions push deeper into the mountains, and they talk. But there is one that barely talks, Nastassja Kinski. She plays Mignon, a young, silent street performer. Without saying a word, she is one of the most striking presences in the entire film, precisely because she says so much with so little. She is also given a physical role opposite Wilhelm, and that is something that would draw a great deal of attention and a great deal of discussion in the years that followed. Especially after this scene, the group reaches a remote castle owned by a friend of someone in the group. There is wine. Then the night quiets down, and one by one, everyone goes to bed. Wilhelm waits. He checks that the others are asleep, and Kinski is the last room he goes to. Listen, a 29-year-old director wants a 32-year-old stranger to visit her in her first acting job, in the middle of the night, in a big, dark, remote castle full of strangers. He opens the door. He pulls off his shirt and laid down. He puts on the light, sits down, and then does this. Then he suddenly does this. The scene is cut at this point, leaving one question hanging in the air. What happens after that moment? And why does he hit her and moments later gently stroke her cheek? Was he truly surprised? Did he really not know that she was lying in that bed instead of the blonde adult woman he claimed to love? Because only after the kiss, when he turns on the light, does he seem to discover who is really there. Or was that the point? Did he turn on the light because the director wanted it? Think about this fact. This scene was not inherited from the novel the film was based on. According to later reporting, it was added by the filmmakers themselves because they wanted it there. Later in the film, Wilhelm frightens the old Nazi away from the group. Then, left alone with the blonde woman and the girl, he asks whether she wants to stay with them. When Kinski grew up, she would spend much of her life trying to mentally escape that castle. She described the experience very differently. She never spoke about it in public. But then, around 2011, 36 years later, for the first time, Kinski started speaking out publicly, pushing for that scene to be taken out of the film. And for years, she kept raising it, again and again. And in 2024, Wenders finally admitted she had a point. It was only the beginning of what was coming. After years of silence, Kinski gave a major interview in May 2026, speaking at length about the moment that had stayed with her since childhood. She said she had not been properly prepared for the way she would appear on screen. She had felt uncomfortable during filming, and she had tried to stop. And above all, she said that nobody protected her. It was her first film. As a child surrounded by adults, in a production that carried the authority of literature, cinema, and professional ambitions. She didn't yet understand contracts, but she felt that what was happening was not right. The scene placed the 13-year-old performer inside an intimate situation that, viewed today, raises questions far beyond artistic intention. At the time, there was no public reckoning. The film won awards, the direction was honored, the screenplay was celebrated, the cinematography was praised. Kinski's mother, Ruth, discovered the scene later and did not know anything about this scene. The uncertainty matters because Kinski's early career was shaped by adults making decisions around her. She had been discovered young, while living with her mother in difficult financial circumstances. Her father, Klaus Kinski, was elsewhere. For a struggling family, cinema may not have looked like danger. It may have looked like an escape, a chance to earn money, a chance to become someone, a chance to fulfill her dream and become a dancer. Makes this question of consent complicated? What do you think? Thank you for your support. A child may agree to work. A child may follow directions. A child may even seem excited by the possibility of acting. But how freely can a 13-year-old refuse when the room is full of adults, when the camera is ready, when the director is waiting, when the production has already decided what the scene should be? There is no reliable public record showing exactly who approved the scenes. No surviving consent form. No parent was told. No time to give permission, or whether the final staging was understood before filming began. Who owns a filmed body once the original agreement has been signed? Wenders' attorney responded that Kinski had no legal claim requiring the scene to be deleted or the film to be altered. Legally, the film remained intact. Emotionally, nothing was resolved. Wenders addressed the issue publicly in 2023. He said that, at the time, the scene had appeared artistically necessary. Would he shoot it the same way today? No, he said he would not. But the scene remained. Then, in June 2026, everything changed. Wenders released a new statement through his foundation. He apologized to Nastassja Kinski without reservation and acknowledged that she should have been better protected at the time. For Kinski, it was a late recognition of something she had felt as a child. For the film world, it was a painful reminder of an era in which young performers were often given too little protection, especially when the work was defended as serious art. That is one of the most difficult parts of the story. Wrong Move was not the only troubling part of Kinski's early filmography. In the years that followed, she was repeatedly placed in roles that would be almost unthinkable today. A year later, she appeared in To the Devil, a Daughter. She was 14, while the men around her were far older. Then came other films in which she was again placed at the center of attention. Kinski later said something that now sounds like the clearest judgment on that world. If she had been her own daughter, she would not have allowed it. There is no public evidence that the controversial scene was created specifically to sell tickets. No public accounting that shows who profited most from the film over the decades. But Wrong Move did not disappear after its release. It was shown in cinemas, broadcast on television, released on home video, restored, packaged for international audiences, and included in collections devoted to Wenders' work. What remains unknown is how much of that value ever reached the girl at the center of it all. What is known is that she wanted the scene removed. She wanted a conversation. She wanted recognition. When Wenders finally withdrew the film in June 2026 from circulation, it did not erase the past. It did not undo the filming. It did not give Kinski back the power she lacked as a 13-year-old on set. But it did change the official story. The scene was no longer defended only as a product of its time. It was finally named as something for which a child should have been better protected. That may be the real legacy of this case. Not that the film disappeared, but that the oldest excuse in the room finally collapsed. Because what Kinski said breaks the easiest defense people reach for when they talk about cinema from the 1970s. That people simply did not know better back then. Maybe she did not understand all of it. Maybe she did not have the words yet. Maybe she did not know how to fight grown adults, or contracts, or the people who ran the whole machine. But she knew enough to feel that something was wrong, and that should have been enough. So here is the question that hangs over all of it. If a 13-year-old girl on that set could feel it, in the moment, without the words to explain it, then how did every adult in that room miss what she could not?